Okay.
Okay. Well, Bill, as the principal of St. Pius, why did you decide to do it in the first place, to bring the kids in?
I was really looking for a great experience for the kids. I think sometimes we at St. Pius are very limited in diversity, and I'm also trying to explain to the children how connected we are to the real world and how instantly we can do things with other countries. So it really has more than met my expectations in that area. I'm very excited about it.
That's great. Well, you know, the Chinese students were excited to come. One of their first things was because it was a blue ribbon school. Can you explain a little what a blue ribbon school is and how St. Pius qualified for that?
Sure. It's a distinction from the federal government of the United States to the Department of Education, and you only can qualify for it one time. For instance, we received it in, I believe, 2007, and we cannot apply for many, many years because they only allow so many people to go through the process. But part of it was strong academics. You had to show proof of test scores, standardized test scores. You had to offer foreign language. You had to offer PE and the whole gamut. So it wasn't just the academics. You had to, all the pieces for a child.
Okay. Have you heard from the teachers? What has it meant to your staff to have the students here and also to have Kelly as a visiting teacher?
I think that was, again, it was like a shot in the arm. A lot of my staff are veteran staffs who have been here 20, 25 years plus. So I think bringing in some freshness like that was good for everyone. People very quickly embraced Kelly and the children. It was very warmly received. And I think the teachers quickly found ways that they could connect Kelly to their classrooms and the children, and I think they've done a really good job with that. A lot of the programs I'm familiar with send an administrator to another school, and this to me is so much better because it's actual experience with the Chinese children. And another thing that was really great about the Kelly and the children is their passion for China and educating us about China, because I think sometimes in the West we're misinformed. And I think talking to Kelly and the children, they really have a passion for their government and what's going on there, and it's very evident.
Have there been any really neat experiences you've heard about here at school that the kids have done or that Kelly's done with the classrooms that you wanted to share?
I can tell you lots.
Really? Good.
Well, again, I think the first thing is our families have just really embraced children, and they're always telling me stories about how it impacts their own families, and I think particularly some of their experiences with God the first time. I know I've heard wonderful stories about Patrick and prayer, and I just think that was a kind of an eye-opener for the kids, and even Kelly attending some of the instruction for religion. I think that was just very eye-opening. But I think it's really a two-way street. I really like that we're learning from the other children, and it's not just we've got these kids here and they're getting our education. But I mean, the family trips they've taken on, I know they've gone to Washington, D.C., they've had them to different homes for boating and swimming, lots of educational experiences. And as a school, I know that as we're planning field trips now, we think about, well, where can we take the Chinese children, because this is a great way to show them about Indiana and then connect it to our school.
Have you been pretty happy? I mean, we understand as an exchange program, it takes a while for kids to connect. I mean, it really just does. But now that we're about halfway through the program, do you think they're starting to connect to the American students?
I would definitely. So I think what I find are kids no matter where they are, and that's the beauty of your children. They're no different than our kids. They're touching each other, pushing it, playful, that kind of stuff, which I think that's great for. So that's really been wonderful. But what was I'm sorry again?
Well, do you think they're connecting to the American students?
Yes, but I think that's something we could do a better job on in the future. I think that we've intentionally allowed them sometimes to travel as a small group, because we want them to be comfortable with each other. But I think now that we've learned from the program, I would probably intentionally separate them at times just so they're forced to use more English, interact with the kids. But the kids really enjoy them. There's no separation or that type of stuff, but I think that could be helpful in the future.
Have you had any behavior problems or anything with the students that your teachers have had to come and talk to you about?
Nothing different than any other middle school kid. Not a thing. Very respectful children, very, very respectful. I took them out for lunch one day, and they were very good about thanking me, and so.
We heard that was a great experience. Patrick was telling us that was one of his best memories. He was telling about you doing that, and that the owner is Chinese.
Yes, so they all came out to speak with us, and
he hadn't been home in many years, this gentleman, I guess.
It was like the homecoming. It was definitely.
Did you go to Patrick's thing for the New Moon
No.
Festival? I
No.
thought that was neat that they did that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think some of the parents are making so many great opportunities just as if they're their own children. I mean, that was
That's the
just
key.
above and beyond. I mean, she's expensed a lot to take all the kids out, but it was a great experience.
Yeah, it has.
Another thing the kids are doing, because they're only here for a short while, but I know some of the girls are doing cheerleading and some of the boys are doing some of our sports, and I think that's a great thing for the children too.
Well, and in middle school, you can participate in that without it being a problem with IHSAA sports. Or sometimes in high school, that can be a hint or a problem, really. So I'm really glad they're doing it. And they're learning about why we play sports. A lot of them just don't understand why Americans, like we have trophy cases dedicated to sports, right? And
Sure.
there it's dedicated to math Olympians, you know.
But I'm hoping that this isn't the end of our relationship, because my real goal, even between when your children leave, is that what are we going to do now between now and even the end of the year? And I know that they have formed some relationships where they're going to do pen pals and exchanges. But I'm really hoping that my teacher really sees the value of going to China for a few weeks and then bringing back some of that for our kids too. And it's been so well received. I can even see where elementary teachers would really enjoy it, and it really ties into our mission about globally educating the children and showing the interconnections. We do a lot of Skyping and things, and we also have families in China right now from our school, so it's a great connection.
Do you have any questions, Catherine?
No, it's wonderful. Yeah, and definitely that's why we build up the program, and we want to build this relationship more close, and then we want to invite lots of American kids and teachers to go to China and to experience more.
In Indiana, we have something called Teacher Creativity Grants from the Eli Lilly Foundation. You're familiar with Lilly? Lilly is a big pharmaceutical drug corporation, and they give grants to teachers to do something to refresh them as a teacher. This would be a great project that we could encourage teachers to do. It gives you up to $8,000 to travel or do what you want that'll make you refresh as a teacher. And they really like to give money to people who are already doing a program already. So I think our natural connection of doing this exchange program, I could see where one of our teachers could apply for that.
Right.
Several years ago, I was a Lilly Fellow, and I went to China, Hong Kong, South Korea, and Japan. And you can see my Mount Fuji stick. I climbed Mount Fuji, and it was just I was formerly a social studies teacher, and it was just a great experience to come back with firsthand information. And I think especially China right now is so misunderstood by the West. This is just a great learning opportunity.
Right, it is. Yeah.
Thank you, Bill. This is such a blessing. We're so thankful that this was our first school to work with.
Yes.
I think it was really a God moment. I do. To have
But
the
again,
kids
I think we
back.
can all, again, I know I can do some things better next time, and we will, but I still think for first I'm very happy, and my teachers very. Before we even said yes to Donna, I got all my teachers together to get their buy-in and thoughts, and they really all, not every one of them voted to do it. So.
Yeah. I was telling Catherine, I thought that speaks to your leadership. I thought that was very wise. Rather than just putting a program on them, you made sure they were part of the team. I like that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I would love